Hey, what's going on to everyone listening to this podcast? I'm your host, Alex Arnivas, and welcome to the Limitless Lifestyle Podcast. As you can tell, there's still no intro to this podcast as our computer problems are still kind of developing. I actually need to get a new one in order to provide this podcast the intro that it really represents. But again, I just wanted to get on the podcast, and sometimes I actually think that doing these kind of quick, getting right to the point topics are in some ways capable, maybe hit more at home or hit someone or relate to someone a lot better and a lot quicker than kind of having a long durated podcast about a certain topic or a certain thing I want to discuss. But at some points, you just got to get right to the point, and you just got to hit home with people on what's going on and what you've seen and how you feel that what you've experienced can help. Because I really truly believe what I just experienced this last week will tremendously help a lot of people out there and hopefully add value in some capacity. It may even shift a couple of mindsets of someone out there who's maybe struggling to really comprehend or really see what I'm going to talk about really here. So this past week, I just got back from a trip to Mexico. I visited some family of my wifey for lifey, basically my girl. We went to go see some of her family and went down to Mexico, which is originally where my family's from and her family's from. I went down there to visit some family. But, you know, in the past, I've been down to Mexico with my family back in the summer times when I was a kid, when I was younger. And even during Christmas times, when I was a kid, we would always go down there and stay there for 2 weeks. And when you're a kid, the perspective you see, the things you experience, the things you see, you don't really realize it until you get older. It's like the saying that when your parents, your dad tell you stuff when you're younger, hey, this is why you should go to bed early. This is why you need to not stay up so late. You need to work hard at this, et cetera, whatever it may be. We tend to, when you're younger, like, yeah, whatever. You don't know what you're talking about. When in reality, they've already experienced all that life. So when they're telling us that stuff, they're not really telling us in a bad way. They're telling it to help us because of what they've experienced and what they've seen. Now, with that being said, we were down in Mexico. And like I said, I've been in the past down there. And I don't think until this time that I've gone there, I really kind of felt, you could say a perspective change and appreciation as well to a lot of different things. But in society now and how we live, especially here in the United States, I think we tend to take for granted a lot of the opportunities, a lot of the freedoms, a lot of the blessings that I believe that we have in this amazing country. You know, I didn't grow up my whole entire life here. I was born here in the United States. My parents are immigrants from Mexico. They came here to the States a long time ago to make sure I had a better life. They had me. They went back to Mexico for a few years, and then they decided to come back. And we've been here ever since. I think I've been 6 years old. I've been here ever since. And obviously we took vacations back and forth, like I said. But a lot of people, you could say, from Mexico, especially they travel here to the United States because of one reason only, is because of the opportunity and what this country can provide for people of any sort of race, religion, sexual, whatever you want to call it. Any single person in this country can succeed at the highest level they can because of the way this country is formed in the standard that has stood by for the past years and years and years. And when you go to a country like Mexico, and I always tell people, I'm very proud of my heritage. I'm very proud of where I came from. I'm very proud of where my parents come. I never neglect that, not one bit. I am proud to be a United States citizen and be here in this country and have the opportunity, the blessings that this country provides. But I'm still so passionate in love with the heritage where my parents came from and where essentially I came from. So no disrespect when I say this, but the living situation down in Mexico, the amount of poverty, the amount of struggling lives that are down there, the amount of people that in a lot of the towns, even the major cities are struggling day by day when it comes to, food, income, livelihoods, well-being. So much of their stuff is so minimal, and they're struggling on a day-to-day basis, that to me it's always said like that. I don't know, maybe I saw that this time, and I really learned to appreciate what I had here. And I think sometimes that's what we kind of do when we tend to lose appreciation for something. We tend to lose value for it, and when we lose value, we underperform, or we underutilize what we have in this in here. When we have it, it's the same thing as like you don't know what you have until it's gone. And that's exactly what's going on here. People don't understand the opportunity, the amount of peace, the amount of comfort that you have living in this country. When you go and see the perspective of someone else living, is just struggling to live their day in, day out of their lives. Again, how am I going to put food on the table? How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to provide for my family? How am I going to take care of their health? And that's all they're worried about. They're worried about just a day-to-day life and having the opportunity or having the chance to maybe provide for them. And here we're worried about if I can be so blunt, but the dumbest things sometimes. And really, this is where my perspective really started to change. So there was a little boy there that we're staying at my girlfriend's family store that they have down there. So they sell convenience, like groceries of anything for the town that they live in. And there was a kid who went there who was maybe no older than 8 years old, from what they told me. And from what Ruby, my girlfriend's family, told me, is they said that right there, that little boy comes in often and buys, a couple of bread for sandwiches, some meat. And supposedly he goes on the street and he sells those to make income for his family for whatever reasons he needs to make income for his family. But it started clicking to me like, wow, I mean, he's 7, 8 years old, and to be honest, no 7, 8 year old kid's doing that here. And obviously it's a whole different life, so I see that. But what really got me startling is the kid had a bike. And it didn't really work well because there was no key ignition, so you couldn't start it. And it wasn't like a bike that you pedal with. It was a bike that you could ride through a handlebar, like a motorcycle. Anyways, the way he started that bike was he would literally screw, I think, a key in, and then wind the little rope around that he had it, and then yank it up and pull it just like you would a lawnmower. And once he would pull it, the bike would start and the engine would just go and he'd ride. And really, this is what I want to get to the point with this, when the perspective changed. When you don't see things of that caliber, of a young little boy, 7, 8 years old, doesn't matter his age. It doesn't matter his age. He was a young boy, going out there every single day, not making an excuse on why he can't provide, and the purpose he has for his family is to provide. And he is not making an excuse. He's not complaining about it. He's not worried for someone else to provide for him. He's not looking for assistance from anyone. He's not looking for sympathy from anyone. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, he's a poor little boy, he's working. And don't get me wrong, when you come here, you see that and you're like, yeah, man, that's hard. That's really hard. But really, we have grown adults here in this country, here around the world, making excuses on why they can't go to the gym, why they can't commit to a certain diet, why they can't commit to a certain plan to better their lives, whether it's financially or emotionally or for health reasons. And we go over there to that country where people are literally doing whatever they can to create income, and not just them, but their whole entire families, their children, and they're not making excuses of it. We're here so fed, we're fed so much excuse-itis in society nowadays, that we make everything so easy and convenient, and we choose to look away from the hard situations and choose to go for the comfort instead of the hardship, which is always going to bring us more prosperity, which is always going to bring us more success when we push in, when things get hard. And for me, the whole perspective changes is that what are we doing here in the society when we're making excuses about the simplest things? I can't I can't commit to that diet because it seems a little hard. I can't commit to eating that much grams of protein or fats or carbs, or I can't eat those calories because I can't find the time. To me, it really bothers me and it really makes me think, like, how many excuses are we making up here that anyone else in the world that would be given the opportunity to come here would never make the excuse because of the situation they were in, because they saw a different perspective, because they've lived and experienced something completely different than the person here that was given everything. The same thing, you give someone everything they need, everything they have, they lose appreciation for it. The same reason why I remember as a kid when my father would give me something or my mom would give me something that they bought themselves, I tend to less appreciate it because it was given to me instead of me earning it. And now that I've had what I have now, a vehicle that I have to pay for, that all that stuff, it becomes more of an appreciation because now I've had to earn it and I'm working for it. And the whole perspective changing with that little boy and the whole situation down there was, to me, is the excuses have to go. Guys, if we want to succeed in anything we do, whether it's business, whether it's financial, whether it's health-wise, we have to remove the excuses and put ourselves in a situation where we don't have another option. If you want your business to succeed, if you want your life to succeed, if you want your career to succeed, you got to throw those excuses away that keep stopping you from pushing forward to where you need to be. And that, to me, is the biggest lesson. One of the biggest lessons I learned being there is that I saw people of all sorts of shapes and sizes, of all sorts of sex and skin color, whatever you want to call it. People is what I should call it. Just people in general that didn't make an excuse on why they couldn't make ends meet, why they couldn't provide for their families the way they need to. Now, they may not have the opportunities that we have here in this country. They may not have the opportunities that you have in your situation. And that's exactly what I'm saying. You have the opportunity to succeed at the highest level. And the only reason we're not doing it, or anyone's not succeeding the way they want to, that speak about it so loudly, is because they keep making excuses, they keep shifting their perspective, and they keep undervaluing what they have their hands on. And for me, if you don't get those things right, your success in your business and your life and your health will never be what you ideally want it, because you're going to keep putting a wall in front of it and you're going to keep ramming yourself into it over and over, expecting something else to change, expecting a small crack to open up, and eventually you're going to be able to make a break point. But here's the thing, you never thought to turn and look the other way and see a different perspective so that you can see a new vision for what you can value and you can push forward towards the goals and success that you want. And really, that's what I want to get, is we have to change our perspective. We have to take everything else we have to push away the excuses and value the opportunity that we have in here to be successful. Value the situations that we are, because there is so much more situations that are hard and people still don't make excuses. People make a way to live their lives and come out the way on top the way they can. In this country, I believe you have the absolute most amazing opportunities, and you should value every situation that you have and now take an opportunity to have it. What are you doing that's causing you to not be successful? What are you doing that's causing you not to achieve the goals you have? And the real reason is you're undervaluing everything. Your perspective is not in the right lens, and you undervalue everything that you have here, and you're making excuses. So really, the lesson here it is: stop making excuses, stop undervaluing what you have, shift your perspective, and create the goals that you want to by switching all that stuff. Thanks so much for listening, guys. I hope this added value in some sort of way into your life. If you appreciate the podcast, if you find value in it, please subscribe. Please share with your friends. That's the only way we grow, through word of mouth. And I would highly, highly appreciate it. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll listen on to the next episode of the Limitless Lifestyle Podcast. See you guys later.